Hello everybody. I was looking up, I was watching this video the other day where this guy is just showing picture upon picture upon picture of no people in the towns and the cities, which is a bit weird. What the hell happened for there not to be any people in the pictures? Just masses of infrastructure but no people. What did they go? Zoom, zap, everybody had gone? These pictures do have a few people in them, but considering we're talking about London being a city, not that many people there really. Although there is a butcher showing meat there, so people obviously have to live there. Maybe that day it was raining and they didn't come out, but I don't know whether the people have been superimposed in on the pictures, to be honest, but not that many people around. I mean, they made roads and pavements then, so they had to have had cars and things, because it was on that picture just a minute ago. Anyway, you know, we get many pictures like this with all this infrastructure, but hardly anybody's in it. Okay, that's a drawing, but, you know, pictures, drawings, they're always the same. I mean, those people are on their knees. Maybe they walk in there and go, oh my God, look at the size of it on their knees. Oh my God. I don't know. They're on their knees, but then maybe seeing that they would be. And then we've got shops and things, but do they look very modern? No. No, but it's hard, you know, myself finding many pictures without any people in them. Or very few people in them. Or then you get the other extreme where there's loads of people in them. I mean, look at that. Maybe it was Sunday morning at 8 o'clock and nobody was up, but there's no cars, no carts, a couple of kids playing, no people. I mean, it is weird. That's 1894, but I think there was two catastrophic things happen. One about the 1830s and one in the later 80s. This could be all to do with that, whether it was mudsliding or whatever they did, because they did things. We know now there's empty towns, there's all sorts of things. There was other wars going on. I mean, look at that, they're happily planting while that building is gone. And this is the other thing I find really amazing, is they said bombing, but when I looked at a lot of the photographs had the shell of the building, just like that village in Turkey, the ghost town, the Greek ghost town in Turkey by Udinese. So they just don't have their roofs. The kids playing there in the water with this. There you go, look, says bombed. And all the buildings are there, but the roofs aren't on. There's just no roofs. What, bang, and then the roofs collapse and that's it? I don't know. It just seems really strange that the walls are there, but no roofs. Okay, this one's a little bit more damaged, Berlin. I mean, if we go back to that one a minute, we're going back, right, to there. Where are we? Here. You can see windows and things. Do you see that? Like, it's almost as if something's come in and covered up the bottom of the building. I don't know, but anyway, it's all destroyed. So, yeah, let's put it on. Yes, I don't know if we can make sense, really, of the photos of the past. What's that? Is that a river that's come through? Is that the road? Well, the buildings are there, but the roofs are missing. Another one, look. Roofs are missing, but the buildings are there. What do? Do something in frequency and it collapses the buildings? Anyway, another picture, no people. I mean, look at that for London transport. I'm not sure I'd want to go on that. Or maybe it would have felt very high-tech in its time. And then looking at the station. This is Waterloo Station in London. Yeah, there's taxi cabs there on the left here, waiting to pick people up. But there's hardly anybody in the station. Waterloo Station. See, nobody's there. Tracks look old, don't they? Anyway, this place interested me. This place is up in Hull, right? And it's the same thing. There's a whole town that's been shut up. They're going to build on here, but it's left. Some of the residents are not living in council houses and they have to wait for their house to be bought by the council, and then the people who own the house will then tell them to move on. So there is a couple of residents, but this was the ITN News, I think it was 2017 or 18. I never saw it, but then I don't watch the news, but then just came across this one today. Look, this whole, what do you call it, residence is empty, except for a few people living there now. So this is one of the residents that lives there, and obviously he's explaining how hard it is to live there because, vandals come in and they burn things, they throw things, they nick things, they break things, and that's all they're interested in. And he's the resident, I think, where he's, oh no, it's not him, sorry, he's put there, but he's waiting for the council to move him. But I mean, I don't know how I'd feel if every house around me, you want peace and harmony, don't you, in your own space. But when you look out and it looks like a war's gone on and all the houses are empty, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But they haven't still got rid of all the residents out of the properties. And there is someone living next door to him. I mean, his property looks quite new, doesn't it? They said that they were actually knocking this all down and are going to build other houses there. Yes. I mean, I myself live in a housing estate. It's on the edge of the town, so in a sense I'm quite lucky because just round the corner is countryside. But I don't know how I'd feel if I looked out and every single house was looking like this. They're not small houses, they're made of concrete. They've probably got asbestos in them or something, and this is why they're having to relocate everybody. But they say they're concrete houses, so why would they need to knock them down? So they must have something else in them. Or the council decided, yeah, it's okay, we'll just get rid of the residents, we'll stick them in the new little boxes that we've built, and yeah, you can knock down the houses and build hundreds of flats. This is in Hull. Anyway, this was supposedly this boy was trying to nick the pipe. Just seems a bit weird, really. I mean, he kept going as well. So they just explained that even when the firefighters turn up to put the fires out, you've got the residents wheeling things at you. So obviously the residents aren't very happy then, are they? Even a bin comes. Oh my God. Whack! Don't think that's a very happy resident. Personally. Can't see the point of what the resident's doing, to be honest. Anyway, they're just explaining that, and then this is a fire and rescue person explaining that, the difficulties, the fires, the problems, so... Oh my God, it's about 500 houses, which it's getting on for a town size, isn't it? I'd say 500, could make that as a town. And they are knocking it down, but they're taking a long time. I don't know if it's asbestos because they're just knocking it down, but it just seems really strange. Well, maybe it's because they can fit twice as many people there in flats. But flats are the one thing since the lockdown are not very favourable anymore. My daughter-in-law works for a housing company, and everybody who lives in a flat is wanting to buy a house because staying in a flat for months on end without being able to go out, they couldn't handle it. They want a house with a garden. That's what she said. Everybody's buying houses with gardens. So, sticking the houses of prices up. Anyway, I think this resident here is the one where it's not quite a council house. Somebody owns it privately. The council rent it off of them, and he is now waiting to be moved because he's waiting for them to buy the house, and then they'll get moved to somewhere else. But people who own houses and the council are buying them, they take a bit longer. I don't know if I'd like that. I've lived here for I don't know, since 2008, and then someone said, well, we're buying your house and you've got to go. I don't know how I'd feel, to be honest, but anyway. Hull is quite a big place with probably quite a lot of unemployment, to be honest. And I just don't know how I'd feel looking out and seeing like every house empty and boarded up. So what he's explaining there is, if they start a fire next door, it could go into his house because the house next door is empty. And he's got to sit and wait to be moved. But it just is quite a lot of houses, isn't it? I mean, well, it's a big project, isn't it? But anyway, so my point is that maybe in the past they were doing things like this. Taking, I don't know, maybe they were going to knock things down and build other things there. Anyway, you never know why they show us all this stuff. But, you know, every now and again on the news, these things keep coming up. Like, me and Amy did one a few months ago about these houses that were worth hardly anything because of where they were and so forth. And, you know, there's hardly any employment there and lots of empty houses again. It was up north, and then they've got this place in Hull, which is up north of England. But almost town size. Like, there's 500 houses in here, nearly all of them are empty. Just seems such a shame, you know, that's a house. You know, when they've built them, you'll just get a dinky little flat. These had gardens. But obviously lots of people have been moved on. But, as I say, they're knocking them down. Shame, isn't it? Yeah, and he's a workman also explaining the difficulties of, you know, that they watch the place 24/7, but vandals still come in and start fires and do things. So I suppose you'd think that they would just get on with it and knock it down then, if that's what they were going to do. I just think it's really sad to see all these houses go, and it couldn't be asbestos because they'd have to get rid of them in a certain way. Anyway, the police come in as well to keep watch, don't they? But this is a few years ago, and this has probably changed now. But what my point was that it wasn't just in the 1800s, there was ghost places. There's one here. Policeman explaining the problems with this housing estate. I just don't know if you expect to see places like this, even in England. I was so shocked when we found them in America. There was Texana, Bodie, even the Salton Sea was another place that looked like this, which had all these people living there and then they'd all gone. And then this counsellor's talking and explaining again the difficulties of this housing estate, and you know, he drives past it every day and all the problems it causes. So yeah, anyway, so another place in England that's kind of empty, just things that we don't know, and then you know it. So yeah, he's explaining all his difficulties, and then it looks like that. But there are people walking around, so there are people living there. Just most of it at this point was empty. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I know you're not supposed to know everything and you can't know everything, but you know, someone else walking around, so yeah, it's not completely empty there, is it? And let's move on, because there's this counsellor talking, and you know where they talk from, don't you? This is a resident who's moved out of that estate, and he's quite happy. He's got a new modern house, and he doesn't have to worry about the safety of his children anymore. So he's quite happy that he's moved on. Let's move it on, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And then the counsellor moaning and groaning again. Well, just get on and do what you've got to do then. It's half of it's destroyed anyway. But there's a car there, so someone obviously lives up there. But it is a bit sad, isn't it, to see empty places like this. Another man. These are all the people that they've spoken to. Anyway, I don't know if I'd like to look at that outside my front door. And it's quite a big area. God knows what they're going to put in there. And it probably doesn't look very nice if you've got burnt out houses across the road from you. But I mean, there's signs of activity. Some of these gardens look more... Oh, I don't know. It's just a bit sad, I think. I mean, look, you could put a house in the garden and you could make... There's a lot of land here to build. So you can see why they've done it, can't you? To make more money.